Okay, today we're going to kind of do a review of Cimarron's Man with No Name revolver. I looked this up on YouTube prior to purchasing it, and the only videos I found were of people shooting them, not really going into much detail of the revolver itself. So we're going to do that today. This is the box that came in. Inside you got NRA and NRA application for membership, which if you own one firearm or 1,000, you need to be an NRA member. Enough said. I gave you this nice little bumper sticker. I doubt I'll put it on my vehicle, but it'll go somewhere in my gun room. Owner's manual, firearm safety booklet, my original receipt, the warranty slip if you need to send it back in, and if you do, you'll need a copy of your original receipt. Another little kind of owner's notice, and this stupid thing, your gun lock, which how to use it on a revolver I have no idea, don't care. All my guns go in the gun safe, so really don't need that. Alright, let's put this box off to the side. So this is a Cimarron's Man with No Name, and why it's called that is because it's kind of considered a Hollywood gun. If you watched any of the spaghetti westerns with Clint Eastwood, I think particularly the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, he used a revolver much like this. It's an 1851 cap and ball revolver that's been converted to fire cartridges, center fire cartridges. The way we tell that is there's a loading gate right here off to the side. Now on these conversions, when they were done in the factory or out of the factory at a gun shop, they took this loading lever off because you no longer need it for a cartridge firing revolver. This loading lever is to load for black powder, where you pour your loose powder in and set your ball on the cylinder and then push the ball into the cylinder. Well, of course we don't need that because we're firing center fire cartridges. But this loading gate does have an advantage, and I'll show you that here in a little bit. Or it has a purpose, I should say. So this is considered a Hollywood gun. I'm sure that some of the gunsmiths back in the day, when somebody brought an 1851 in to have it converted, who knows, they may have left the gate on and just simply drilled out the back of the frame so that you can insert a cartridge. I'm sure there's probably some examples out there, but most of them, like I said, most of them, this was removed because it's no longer needed. Alright, as far as the sights go on this, you got a back sight and a front sight. The back sight, there's a set screw here. Loosen that set screw and you can drift the back sight left or right for windage. Your front sight is just a brass post. I guess if you needed elevation, you could file some off of that, and that's about all you can do with that one. To load the revolver, pretty easy. You just, let me bring it back down. You just cock it once, bring it back till you hear the first click, and leave it in that position, and then you can spin the cylinder, open the gate, and start loading. We're going to load this up today. We're going to load it with 5 rounds. Even though this is a 6-shooter, we're going to load it with 5. The old timers, that's how they did it. That was for safety's sake. If you're going to go out to the range and shoot it, load it up with 6 and shoot them. But if you're going to carry this in a holster or load it and carry it anywhere, you need to load 5 instead of 6. That, like I said, that's safety's sake. The reason behind that is if it's resting, if the hammer's resting up against an empty cylinder, if you were to drop this and it hit the hammer, it's not going to go off. If you had a round in there and you dropped it and it hit the hammer, it's going to go off. It's going to shoot you or somebody else. So that's why you load 5. The easiest way to load 5, I'm going to cock her once, make sure she clicks and she's seated. Open my gate, take 1 round, insert the first round, then spin the cylinder, skip a cylinder. That's very important. Load 1, skip 1, then finish loading it. I hope you can see that. So we load 1, skip 1, and top her off with the 4, and close my gate. Now, right now, that hammer is setting over a loaded cylinder, or the chamber. It's setting over a loaded chamber. So all I got to do now is pull the hammer all the way back, pull on the trigger, ease the hammer down, and now the hammer is resting against an empty chamber. So we're against our empty chamber. So it's load 1, skip 1, then load the 4. Cock it, let her down, you're on an empty chamber. That's that easy. And that's the safest way to do it. Like I said, if I was at a firing range and I'm going to load her up and shoot it, I'd load it with 6, shoot. But if I'm going to put it in a holster, or I'm going to load it and carry it outside, I want to load 5, keep it on that empty chamber. Or, yeah, keep it over that empty chamber. Now, to unload this thing, say we fired these rounds off, to get rid of those spent cartridges, I'm going to bring her back, cock it to the first click, open my load gate. Now, the loading lever, this is where it comes in handy. You bring that down and it comes apart, unlike the originals. And there you go. You got this little thing here to pop them right out. Pretty handy, pretty neat. And then when you put it back in, you got to make sure you put it in. You can put it in upside down, so you want to make sure you put it in right. So when you close it, that locks in there the right way. If you put it upside down, it'll still go in there, but when you fire it, she'll come loose and she'll start hanging down. I found that out. So we got it unloaded. I want to visually inspect. Yep, we're unloaded. Close the loading gate. Bring the hammer back down. Now to break this down for cleaning, that loading gate's going to play another important part, or that loading lever, I keep saying loading gate, that loading lever is going to play another important part. Alright, you got a set screw. One side of the set screw has been ground off, so you turn that set screw so your straight edge is pointing down. Okay, got it pointing down. Then you're going to remove this wedge. It's tight, so I just take a little dowel rod, give it a little tap, pull my wedge out, set it aside. Now you can either yank that barrel off from that frame, or you can use this loading lever. You bring it down against the cylinder and push, and she comes right off. See? That's pretty easy. There you go. Now you can clean her. Putting her back together. Put your cylinder back on. Close your loading gate, because you don't need, or your, gosh dang it, your loading lever, because you don't need it anymore. Slide it back on. Give her a good push. Take your wedge. Make sure you insert it right. There's a little notched out, recessed area right there that faces up. Stick that in there, and then I take my dowel and just kind of give her a little pound. Make sure she's in there. She is. Take my set screw and tighten it. There you go. We broke her down and we put her back together again. All in all, it's a fun little revolver to shoot. I really enjoy it. The 38 sure is a lot cheaper than the 45. So if you're interested in one, I highly recommend it. If you learned something today, I'm glad you did. If you didn't, oh well, sorry. But other than that, that's that. Take care.